Thank you so much for joining me. We're doing a full-length Reformer Pilates class today. It's going to be on gratitude. It's going to be a heart-opening class. I know that we do this a lot in my classes, but it's so important to work on opening up the front of the body, of the pecs, the shoulders, nice wide collarbones, nice long neck, to go ahead and combat the effects of looking down at our devices all day, our phones, hunching over our keyboards, really opening up, rolling the shoulders up, back, and down. So often we feel like we're rolling our shoulders back, but there's still a little bit wider that we can open our shoulders, but we want to make sure that we're not flaring our ribs to open our shoulders. So we need to really tighten up on that vest of support, really cinch the ribs together, draw them together with those little serratus anterior rib muscles, and really draw our abdominals up and in while we're opening the shoulders. We're going to think of widening our shoulder blades, which is something we've worked on previously in class before. So to begin, I have one light spring on my machine. That is one blue. My headrest is down. I have my hand straps on, or my handles on. We're going to begin facing the foot bar, but on our hands and knees. So those of us who have some knee problems, let's go ahead and find a towel or a pad to place under our knees to help assist with that. I'm going to come on my knees. My feet are my toes are together in my footrest. So when I come down into the quadruped position, my hands are going to be on my platform. I am pressed back a little bit because of my foot bar. I would like my shoulders as far over my wrists as I can get, and my hips are over my knees. And then I'm going to inhale, exhale, tuck my head, tuck my tail, really drawing on my lower abdominals, wrap my ribs, and look into my thighs. I'm going to exhale, lift my tailbone, and lift my head up while pulling my shoulders up, back, and down, drawing my ribs and drawing my abdominals up and in, squeezing in on my glutes, squeezing in on my inner thighs. And I'm going to come back up into the cat. While I'm in the cat, I'm going to think of pulling apart the platform to really flatten out my shoulder blades while I round up and in. When we round up into the cat, we want to think of coming up rather than folding in with our shoulders. We want our shoulders nice and wide, but we want to be drawing our belly up, up, up towards the ceiling, towards our spine. And we're going to sink, allowing everything to drop, getting a nice spinal stretch, still pulling the platform apart. But what we're doing is we're still drawing our abdominals up and in, still wrapping our ribs. If you have a mirror from you, take a look. Are your shoulders rounded up just a little bit still? Go ahead and widen them. Don't sink down into your shoulders. They should be pulled away from your ears. Nice long neck. Let's do one more. Tuck your tail. Look in through your inner thighs. Pull the platform apart. Draw it in as well at the same time. We're not allowing the carriage to pop away from the end of the platform. We're pulling in with our lats here to go ahead and engage those as well, which will assist in opening up the front of our body. So pull in on those lats. Really pull the carriage in, drawing everything together. And now carefully walk your hand back to the carriage. With grace and dignity, go ahead and slide over to your booty. We're going to place our feet through the headrest. We're going to make sure that we have a hand's width from the edge of the carriage to our tailbone. Now, for those of us whose legs do not fit through our shoulder blocks, go ahead and pop one ankle over the other. I'm going to reach down. I'm going to pick up my handles. I have a nice wide shoulder blade still. Really feeling that wideness in the shoulder blades that I felt when I was using my hands on the platform for the cat-cow. I'm hinged forward just the lightest bit so that I'm not leaning back in my hip flexors. My carriage is completely in at the bumper. My hands are facing each other. I'm looking at the end of my machine. On my machine, my hands are as wide as my uprights are on the back of my machine that are holding my pulleys. If your pulleys are a little bit closer, make sure that your arms are wide enough so that you can feel yourself spreading your shoulder blades apart, opening up the collarbone, nice, soft, wide sternum. Roll your shoulders up, back, and down. Engage your lats to pull your arms down. Think of your shoulders as coming halfway down your back. And you need to. So furthermore, when you raise your hands over your head, your arms are actually going to come halfway down your back. Think of that so that you can use your lats and really engage those. But when I come up, I'm not going to come up with my arms coming real close so my shoulders come up. I'm going to leave them separated, like the pulleys are separated, and pull down on my lats. Slight bend in my elbows. Not a lot, just a baby bend, so that I can really engage down my back, down my sides. Let's go ahead and begin. Enough talk, right? I'm going to inhale, exhale. I'm going to tuck my tail. Before I go anywhere, I'm going to tuck my tail and move the carriage by tucking my tail and drawing my pelvis towards the end of the machine. And then from there, I'm going to come back a little bit further into a nice C-shaped curve. Drawing my ribs towards my hips strongly, wrapping my ribs nice wide. Think of widening your shoulder blades here. Begin to articulate up. And the tuck is the last thing to bring the carriage into the bumper. Now tuck your tail, dropping your belly to your spine, and draw the carriage to the end of the machine with your abdominals. You're not sitting back or leaning back with a flat back. You're tucking your tail and using your spinal muscles to articulate your spine to move the carriage, all the while keeping nice wide shoulders, collarbones, nice long neck. Exhale and move the carriage with your abs. And come back up. On the inhale, I have a super light hold on my handles. I can hold my handles with one finger. I'm not saying that you have to do that or you have to be able to do that. Just don't hold onto your handles for dear life. You don't need that much tension in your shoulders right now. Everything is coming through your abdominals. You're really tucking and moving your abdominals. All right, let's go ahead and flip our palms to the ground. We're not coming into the center. They're still separated the same distance. The only thing that's happened is that our palms have flipped. Now tuck your tail, move the carriage with your tuck in your abdominals. And now from here, roll your shoulders up, back and down. Lift your arms up and lower them. If when you lift your arms, your shoulders pop up with yours, only lift them up to where you can without allowing your shoulders to pop. We're going to inhale it up and exhale it down. And inhale to lift. My arms are not touching in the center. I'm squeezing in on my legs as well, really pulling up on the muscles in the tops of my kneecaps. Let's do two more. Draw your abdominals up and in. Draw your ribs towards your hips. Widen your shoulders, just like in cat-cow. We're rounding forward, not in. And one more. And release. And articulate back up again. From there, our palms are going to face each other. Inhale. Exhale, tuck your pelvis to move the carriage. And now we're going to open to a T and bring it back. Really pull down on the straps rather than up. Feel the movement in your back. Good. Keep breathing. Draw your ribs towards your hips. Nice long neck. Go ahead and shake it out. Two more. On this last one, stay out in the T. And now pulse back behind you. Pulse. Pulse. Ribs to hips. Drop your spine down. Really don't flat back. It's so easy. Oh, this is hard. Let's do two more. Bring your arms back forward. Articulate back out. From here, we're going to do a movement called the bow and arrow. We're going to inhale, exhale. Tuck my tail, begin to roll back. Articulate back. When you've gone as far as you can, leaving the left arm where it is. Take your right arm. Draw your elbow down towards the springs and rotate to look to your right side. Your left hip stays grounded the whole time. You're just articulating across in a nice, gentle twist. And now pull back with your left arm. Look to your left side. Right arm stays where it is. And come back. Wrap your ribs. Drop your belly. Again, your shoulders shouldn't be up here. You gotta draw your elbow down towards the springs and look across your body. And back. And draw your elbow down. and back to center. And exhale. And inhale. Make sure that you're still in that nice T-shaped curve. Can you draw your ribs to your hips a little bit further? Can you drop your belly to your spine a little bit? Your belly button. Wrap your ribs. Shake out your neck. All right, guys, almost there. Again, I can hold on to this with one finger if I want to, so I'm not gripping in for dear life. This is your final set to each side. And now articulate back up. You should be feeling this series predominantly in your abdominal muscles. Since the spring is lighter, we're working on widening across the shoulders, spreading them apart, while working through different movements. We're going to flip our palms up to the ceiling, hinge forward ever so slightly. Make sure you still have a hand's width from your tailbone to the end of your carriage. Make sure your shoulders are wide enough. Now tuck your tail to move the carriage. Come back into the C-shaped curve, and now we're going to bicep curl and release. My bicep curls aren't coming right in front of me. They're out ever so slightly, so I can widen my shoulder blades and really work on drawing my abs up and in, wrapping my spine, pulling in on my legs. Shoot energy out of your toes to elongate your legs. The weight of your legs will help you to hold this position. Let's do 2 more. And here's 8. Good. Now articulate up. Now, are these moves particularly hard? No. But the light spring makes them harder. We're going to flip our palms to the ground. Nice wide shoulder blades, nice wide collarbone. And now, so tuck your tail, roll back. And now pull back. The straps come to your underarms and release. And back. And release. Draw your belly to your spine. I'm starting to feel the shake. 5, 6. We are working on some lighter springs today because our focus is on a nice open front of the body, nice flat upper back of the body. And it's easier to accomplish that with a lighter weight, in my opinion. From here, we're going to cross our straps. We're going to do the rowing series again, just working a different part of the shoulder. Inhale, tuck the tail, roll back. Roll your shoulders up, back it down. Feel them go wide, you know they're being pulled across your body. And pull back. Again, the handle's coming to your underarm, not all the way up to the top of your shoulder. This movement is all about control. If you feel yourself slamming around, slow it down and really control. And away. And now articulate up. Release the top on your pelvis. Peg your straps real fast. Scoot your booty up to your shoulder blocks, a little closer than you think you need to be. If you're uncomfortable in this position, or if your neck is already hurting you, please do these exercises on the mat. You don't need any weights. You'll be more than all right. I'm gonna hold it up. Inhale. Oh, my feet are hanging off the end of my shoulder, or off the end of my headrest. Squeeze my legs together. I'm gonna articulate down with control. I'm going to bring one leg to tabletop and the other leg. From there, I'm going to bicep curl in and extend my arms over my head. Come back to a bicep curl and extend my arms. Now, bicep curl. Nice wide shoulder blades. Really think of drawing your ribs to your hips here. We only have 1 more. And now from here, we're going to draw our hands into our shoulders. And when we extend our arms, we're going to extend our legs. Now we're going to draw our legs back and draw our arms back in. And extend our arms back out. Bicep curl. Extend legs, extend arms. Wrap your glutes, wrap your legs. Really squeeze your inner thighs. And you shouldn't be losing your curl up when you extend your legs. Now, think of keeping your shoulders wide, 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 wide. And extend. And now release your arms down, palms flip down to the mat. And we're going to begin pumping. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Curl up a little deeper. Bring the carriage to the bumper. So you're just flapping your straps. Can you curl up even deeper? I don't have any tension in my straps right now. Inhale. Nice long neck. Nice wide shoulders. Nice wide across the collarbones. Squeeze your glutes. Drop your legs about 3 to 4 inches. Draw your abdominals up and in. Curl up a little deeper. Final set. And exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now you're going to draw your knees to tabletop. Take both straps in one hand behind your legs. Go ahead and hold on to your hair and rest your head back into a neutral spine. Do not dip into your springs. You'll catch your hair and then you'll catch your head and then it will not be nice. We're just going to take a slight breather. And you'll exhale to curl back up. Grab both straps, leaving your palms up to the ceiling. We're going to draw our arms into a bicep curl. In, we're going to do a modified coordination. Inhale, exhale, extend. Turn your feet out to Pilates feet. Separate your feet the width of the reformer. Squeeze back together. Back to parallel. Draw your knees in, bicep curl. Extend arms, extend legs. Turn it out and beat 1 and beat 2. Parallel. Tabletop and draw it in. When you extend, keep control of the carriage. Don't allow your straps to have any slack. And turn it out and beat 1 and beat 2 and beat 3. Parallel. Knees, bicep curl. You should be swinging around the carriage because the springs are so light. You need to control it. And open, and here's 4, 3, 2, 1. Parallel. Tabletop, squeeze everything. Bicep curl, nice wide collarbone, nice wide shoulder blades. And open, and turn it out. And here's 5, and 4, and 3, and 2, and 1. And parallel. Draw it in. Bicep curl. Final 1. And reach. Curl up even deeper. Open. Belly button to spine. And here's 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Parallel. Knees to tabletop. Bicep curl. Reach your arms long. Place your feet down. And articulate. Up. Lift up on your straps for a little assist. We're going to peg our straps. Press back with our feet through the shoulder blocks. Lift up, growing tall. Reach forward and then around over. Take a couple nice deep breaths here. We're going to be moving into the rowing series from here. So again, let's go ahead and make sure that we have a hand's width from our tailbone to the end of the machine. I'm going to bring my hands through my handles. I'm going to bring my knuckles together. I have my carriage into the bumper. My arms are rounded. I'm drawing my ribs together and I'm together and in. I'm hinged forward slightly to release any issues with my hip flexors. I'm going to inhale, exhale, tuck my tail, move the carriage with my tail as I pull the strap towards my sternum where both sides of my ribs meet between my breastbones. From there, I'm going to open my arms to a T. Just like in the warm-up, I'm going to flip my palms. I'm going to press back and round over into the C-shaped curve. I'm going to swing my arms to the side if I have shoulder issues. And then I'm going to reach for my toes. I'm going to articulate my spine back up to the starting position with the rounded arms. If I do not have shoulder issues, I'm going to show that exercise. Now I'm going to tuck my tail to move my carriage first. Then I'm going to pull my arms towards my sternum. I'm going to unfold my arms to a large T as opposed to a little T. Flip my palms to face the back. Squeeze back. Round forward in the C-shaped curve. I'm going to reach my arms up behind me. Circle them around, drawing my shoulders down the whole time. Really engaging my lats. Really using my arms down my back idea. Fold over, enjoy the stretch. And articulate up. And I'm going to tuck my tail. Hold the straps in. Open to a T. Flip it back. Press back. Round forward. Lift my arms. Reach up and around. The springs are light here compared to what we normally do in my class. So we really have to have control. Nice wide open collarbones. Really reaching into our abdominals. Press back strongly and forward and lift up and around with control. And when I sit up, I have my shoulders nice and wide. Make sure that you're pulling your shoulder blades apart. We have 2 more. Tuck your tail and roll back. Pulling your straps into your sternum. Open to a T. Flip your palms. Press it back. drawing your abs to your spine. Round over and up. And up and over with your arms. And articulate back up. For this final rowing series 1, I'll do it as if I have shoulder issues. I'm going to tuck my tail, draw my belly button to my spine. Really nice, wide shoulder blades and collarbones. Pull it in. Open to T. Flip it back. Reach back. And then I'm going to just circle my arms to the side. And reach for my toes. And come back up to sitting. From there, I'm going to swing my arms up. My elbows are separated, just like we discussed earlier. They're as wide as the pulley, so I'm not rounding in. I'm not creasing in on my body. Nice wide collarbone, nice wide shoulder blades. So my elbows are actually lined up with my pulleys, as opposed to my shoulders necessarily. They're a little wider, so you really engage my lats, really open up. And then I'm going to hinge back in a flat back position. I'm going to reach my arms up by my ears, just like in the warm-up, guys. Lift, 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 lift. Sit up. Reach as far as I can with a flat back. Round over. I'm going to dip my hands down in the water on the sides of my reformer. Reach back. Then I'm going to circle my arms up and over if I don't have any shoulder issues, or to the side. Sit up, and then I'm going to bicep curl right in. Ooh, this has warm-up written all over. I'm going to hinge back. Wrapping my ribs, drawing my abs in. I'm going to lift up 1, and now I'm going to do it again for 2. And then we're going to flat back, sit up. Shoulders down my back. Hinge forward. Round over. Reach my arms down in the water. Reach back. Reach to the side if I have shoulder issues. As opposed to up and over. Flip my palms up and bicep curl. And I'm going to lean back. I'm only going to do 3, and then I'm just going to start over with my series. So I'm going to do 1 and 2 and 3 again until we get to a series of 6. Flat back, hinge forward. Round over. My palms are facing my footboard as I reach back. Rounding my shoulders up and over. Sitting up as I come up. Flipping my palms. Bicep curl. Series starts over with 1 left. Flat back. Lift my arms. Shoulders down your back. Hinge forward. Round over. Reach back. And up and over. Sitting up. And bicep curl. And back. And lift 1. Abs to spine 2. And up, wrap your ribs. Shoulders down your back. Shoulders are going halfway down your back, remember? Arms all the way down to there. And reach up. And as your arms start to come up, you begin to sit up. Flipping your palms. And bicep curl. Final exercise in this series. Well, not in this series. In this part of the series. Hinge back. And lift for 3. 2. Wrap your ribs for 1. And sit up, sit up, sit up. Resist the springs. Hinging forward. Round over. Reach your arms back. And up and over. Begin to sit up. Flip your palms. And bicep curl. Release the carriage carefully to the bumper. Hold on to your straps with 1 hand. We're going to turn around and face the front. You can do this series with your knees bent. Otherwise, we can practice it just like we did in the warm-up with our legs straight out. Make sure your straps aren't crossed. I'm going to sit. So I'm not wedged up against my shoulder blocks. They are there for support. I have my thumbs through my handles. The rest of my fingers are hanging out on top. I bring my straps into my natural waist. I roll my shoulders up, back, and down. I'm tweezing my shoulder blades at the bottom of the blades, not at the top. So not like this. I'm pulling them down with my lats. Take a deep breath. I'm going to inhale, nodding my chin to my chest, creasing over my sternum to look down my thighs. From there, I'm going to begin to roll forward. Still drawing my belly button on my spine. Tap my fingers to the mat. Press out to the end. I'm going to come up into a hinge position first. Then I'm going to flat back, sit straight up, wrapping my ribs. I'm going to bring my arms down into a field goal position, not allowing them to come behind my body and flaring my ribs. And then I'm going to flip my hands down and bring them to my natural waist, creasing over my sternum. I'm going to look down at my thighs, drawing my abdominals up and in. Drag my fingers along the mat. I'm going to lift up into a hinge position. Drop my hands down, touch the mat. Lift back up into the hinge position we added on. Sit straight up, come to the field goal, and bring my hands in. Shoulders pointing towards my uprights. Inhale, one, looking down. Exhale, reach towards the foot bar. Inhale, hinge up, biceps by your ears. Moving only from our shoulders. We're going to tap our fingers down and lift them back up. We're going to sit straight up, come into a field goal, and bring our hands back down. We are halfway there. We're going to inhale, creasing at the sternum. Exhale to fold over our legs. Inhale to come up into the hinge. Drop our fingers to the mat. Lift them back up to the hinge position. Sit straight up and flat back. Field goal. Hands down to the natural waist. Shoulders up, back, and down. Feel a nice stretch across your back. Inhale. Exhale and reach. Inhale and lift the hinge. Tap the mat and lift. Sit straight up and bring your arms to the field goal and come back down. Make sure you're pulling up on your muscles and you're not getting lazy with your legs. Your legs are still part of the exercise. From there, we're going to come into the hug a tree position with rounded arms, holding on underneath the strap. So we're right here. We're just going to flip our hands. So we're grabbing the strap with our palms. And we're going to exhale. Wrap our ribs. Tap our fingers in the center in the hug a tree. And exhale. And inhale. Pause here. Take an inhale with your arms out. And now exhale to tap your fingers. Inhale to open. And exhale. And inhale. And then from there, we're going to bring our fingertips to touch. Our hands wide. We're going to hinge forward, just like we were in for that other position. Leaving our shoulders down our back. We're just going to open our arms so that they're separated as wide as the pulleys, guys, and come back down to the position. We're not moving our arms, well, we are a little bit. We're unhinging at the shoulders to stay in line with our pulleys. So we're just reaching up and down. Our ropes are going out to the side and back in. They're just reaching forward and resisting. And resist, and one more, and resist. If you have shoulder problems, please continue with that variation. Otherwise, we're going to shave the head. We're going to bring our hands in the same position to the back of our head, hinge forward, and we're just going to reach out from there. Our hands are separated again, and bend back. We're going to keep everything in line with the pulleys. As we extend, abdominals up and in, wrapping our ribs. Our arms extend halfway down our back. We should be able to feel the work. And one more. From there, we're going to bring our arms down to our sides. Good job, guys. I'm going to place my handles back on my pegs. From there, I do believe I forgot to mention this. I have a box and my sticky mat. I'm going to place my sticky mat halfway down my carriage. I'm going to come onto my carriage. I'm still on one blue spring, guys. I'm going to bring my feet up to a Pilates V position in the center. I shouldn't be able to sit back and not have anywhere. I want to be able to sit there and have to hold the carriage into the bumper with a nice little hamstring curl. I'm going to bring my arms up and around. Position one. On the carriage. Pressing our shoulders up and in. Not sinking. We're in a flat back position. Not dropping our pelvis. We're in a nice neutral spine, just sitting on our booties. Second position, you can bring your hands up to the top of the shoulder blocks. These options are similar to the stomach massage options, but we're going to press out, squeeze your inner thighs and glutes to squeeze our legs together, and hamstring curl back in. As we exhale, come back in, and hamstring curl. We're going to drop our belly to our spine. Here, we still have nice wrapped ribs. Our shoulder blades are squeezing at the bottom. If you find this gets to be too much, feel free to take your hands down to your side. We have a nice lift in our sternum, but we're not flaring our ribs. Abs up and in. Nice long shoulders. Let's do two more. and in. Pause at the top. Really squeeze out those muscles and then in. Unwrap your glutes and pull in. And now bring your feet to a wide V. Again, we're hamstring curling. We still have nice work in our inner thighs, and we're going to press out and pull in. Really feel the work in your glutes here. I felt it more in my hamstrings personally in the Pilates V position. In the wide Pilates V, I'm able to activate my glutes more strongly. If you feel like you have too much pressure in your elbows, go ahead and bend your elbows slightly. If you feel like this still isn't helping, again, take your hands down. See if you can reach up a little taller from there. Press into the mat. Don't flare your ribs out, leave them wrapped. And here is 10. Pull it all the way in, and now gently come off to the side. We're going to go ahead and place one medium spring on, take off our one light spring. So I went ahead and I added one red on my machine. I took off one blue. My headrest is still down. I'm going to place my sticky mat on top of my box. Place it on top of my machine, right in the center, long box style. On this one, we're about to do, we're going to engage our glutes and our hamstrings the whole time to really open up the front of our hip flexors. The exercises up to this point have been a little bit more hip flexor heavy, and we'd like to go ahead and combat that by really engaging in the glutes and really pulling up to open up the front of the hips. I'm going to place both hands on my foot bar wide because just like in the beginning, we're going to be pulling apart the foot bar to flatten and widen our shoulder blades. I'm going to bring one foot up and over, and the other foot up and over. Wrap my ribs, draw my belly towards my spine. Really press my pelvis in gently and squeeze my glutes and abs to lift my legs and really open up the hip flexors. Pull the foot bar apart, but don't lift your shoulders up. Leave them slightly below the foot bar or even. I'm going to press out on one. I'm going to pull up on two. Bring my belly to my spine, protect my low back. Press out and come back in. I'm pressing the bar apart as I come back in. Press it apart to press out. Still pulling it apart. So I have a slight bend in my elbows still so I can accommodate the pulling apart. And back in. Now, about low backs. If this movement is hurting your low back, draw your abdominals up to your belly a little tighter. If that's still not working, squeeze your inner thighs together. Still not working? Come up half as high. If you find that your shoulder blades are popping up to your ears, come up half as high as well. Draw your shoulders down your back by engaging the sides of your body underneath your arms, and then try it again. And come back in. From there, I'm going to come off to the side of the box. I'm going to drop my foot bar. We're going to be moving into pulling straps 1 and 2, and then we're going to be working on teaser. So, I'm going to leave my box in the long box position. I'm going to make sure that it's nice and tight on the shoulder box. You can leave one red spring on, hand, lift one leg up, lift the other leg up. Again, just like in swan, we are going to engage our glutes to float our legs slightly to really open up the front of our hip flexors. Optional to float up into a slight, more unsupported style swan as you pull your arms back towards your hips in the pulling straps 1 and 2. If you find that this is not working for you, please just go ahead and maintain a neutral position. I'm going to place my straps on my wrist like bracelet, choke up on my straps, float them to the side of the machine, wrap my fingers around, just like in swan, abs up and in. Pull down so that your shoulder blades are nice and wide so you're not rounded forward. And inhale, exhale to pull back and float up. I shouldn't be looking at the wall in front of me. I will most likely be looking at the inside back of my reformer and the inside of the frame and down and pull back and inhale. Again, this is all about control. Resist the springs back in and pull the springs back up with control without allowing your carriage. If you have bouncing in your carriage, slow it down. Pull down, reaching into the water, just like we did in rowing 2. Reach your fingers in. On this next one, we're going to leave our arms straight back behind us, and we're going to pulse up. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Don't lose that squeeze in the glutes. And lower. Maintaining your squeeze on your glutes. Go ahead and take your hands out of your bracelets or straps and place them on the metal. Grab the metal or place your thumb through the ring, hooking your metal over. Palms face the ground, shoulder blades down your back. Inhale, exhale, and lift, looking at the inside of your frame. Squeeze your inner thighs, draw your belly to your spine, wrap your ribs. Think of your arms as going halfway down your back to pull your shoulders away from your ears. Have a nice long neck, nice wide collarbones. Think of pulling the straps wider as you pull them towards your hips to flatten your shoulder blades. One more, stay back, and pulse in. My palms are to the floor. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and release with control. Ooh. Shake out your legs real fast. Come off to the side, still holding on to your handles. Go ahead and get rid of your sticky mat. I'm going to come onto my box. Carefully and with control, I'm going to come down to lying on my back. I'm going to make sure that my straps are not crossed like they just were. I'm going to reach my arms wide in a T. I have some tension on them, but my carriage is at the bumper. I'm going to bring my legs up to tabletop. So a nice flat sacrum. The tops of my shoulders are off the box, but my shoulder blades are mostly on the box. I'm going to inhale, exhale, reaching down, dipping my fingers into the water. Exhale, and extend my legs, reaching forward. See if you can roll your shoulders open a little wider. Really draw your abs up and in. And really open up the front of the body. From there, I'm going to reach forward with my fingers still, without crunching down my body. Tuck my tail, and reach down. Bending my legs to my arm circuit move. Inhale. Exhale, lift. Really reaching up. Squeezing my inner thighs, drawing in on my lower abdominals. If you're feeling it more in your thighs or hip flexors, go ahead and squeeze your heels and bring your legs into a diamond. Now tuck your tail. When your sacrum hits, go ahead and move your arms and bring your legs into tabletop. One more, we're going to be adding on. Inhale. Don't round your shoulders in to come in like I just did. Reach them down and wide. It's easy to depend on your shoulders. Reach your palms in to face each other. Open an inch, draw it in an inch, and open. Draw it in with your lats. Pressing down. Let's do 2 more. Now reaching forward, we're going to tuck our tail. Begin to articulate down, 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 down. When our sacrum hits, we'll move our arms and draw our legs in. Place both straps in one hand. Carefully roll to the side, coming off of your carriage with control. There's a more graceful way to come off for a teaser, but I feel like we've done enough teasers today, don't you? All right, guys. Here's what we're going to do next. We're going to go ahead and switch this to the short box position, making sure that it's even on both sides, so most of the box doesn't fall off the side, right? From there, you're going to put 4 to 5 springs on your machine. You can put all on your machine if that makes you feel more comfortable. You're going to take your safety strap, give it a good tug, make sure that everything's connected, everything's hooked in properly, so you don't go flying off your box. We're going to come up onto our box. We're going to place our feet through the machine. We're going to extend our feet long, making sure that we have a hand's width, again, from our tailbone to the end of our boxes so that we don't hurt our sacrum, we don't roll off the back. I'm going to squeeze in on my glutes to lift up a little higher, making my hands into, whoop, hook them in like a cinnamon roll almost, press them into my belly button. I'm going to draw my belly button in and away. And then I'm going to crease at my sternum to come forward. Again, I'm not rounding in, I'm rounding forward. So think of so pull apart your hands to widen your shoulder blades and open up the front of your body as you crease forward from your sternum. From there, we're going to inhale, round back. Not all the way. Draw your shoulders down. Pull apart your hands to widen your shoulder blades. And exhale forward in the C-shaped curve the whole time. And inhale, whoop, a little crooked. Inhale back, pull it apart. This is where you can really feel the earthquake effect. Really where you can feel the shake start to begin. Pull up on the muscles on the tops of your kneecaps. Don't crunch your chin to your chest, but don't look up the ceiling either. You want a nice, continuous curve from the tip top of your head, whoop, all the way down. We have 2 more here. Then we'll move on to flat back, and then side bend on our short box. And our short box series will be over. 1 more, we're gonna inhale back. I don't know about anybody else, but I have a sweat going on. From there, with that movement, we're gonna sweep our hands up, bring in our biceps by our ears, wrapping our ribs, a nice flat back position. Don't flare your wrists, draw your shoulders in and down. We're gonna hinge back. Wrapping your ribs, squeeze your glutes to lift up, and hinge forward. And inhale back. Drawing our abdominals up and in. Squeeze your glutes to lift higher, and come forward. We have 4 more. Inhale back. Drop your belly to your spine. Slight bend in your elbows. We're in line with our pulleys again, like we've been talking about the whole class. 2 more. Flatten your shoulders, think pulling apart. Let's do 1 more, and then we're going to begin side bend. We're going to do modified first. And then we're going to go into classical. So, for the modified, we're going to go to the left first. I'm going to place my left hand down in the corner of the box. Roll my shoulder up and down. Press into the box and lift up and over. My elbow is into my hip. I'm going to release my arm. Come back up to sitting. Place my right arm down. Bend my elbow and pressing up as I reach up and over. Release my arm. Come up to sitting. Elbow in and reach over. Dropping my shoulder. Elbow up. Come up to sitting. Right arm down. Think of stretching longer on both sides. Even though you're leaning to the right, your right side is still getting a stretch. And now for classical. Arms stay up the whole time. We're going to lean to the left. Rounding my right hip, not allowing me to flip. And up. We reach up and over to the left. Ground your left hip. 1 more to each side. Don't allow your ribs to flare. Think of moving between 2 sheets of glass. They won't allow you to flare your ribs. Now, loosen your legs. Lift your arms up. And if you're comfortable, go ahead and fold over your legs. Reaching for the foot bar. This is just more of a nice release throughout the back, a nice spinal stretch. One more deep breath. Go ahead and articulate back up to sitting. Remove your feet from the foot strap, or the safety strap. Go ahead and step off to the side. Place your safety strap back. Lift your foot bar back up. Remove your box. From there, we're going to be working with 1 medium and 1 light spring. That's 1 red and 1 blue on my machine. We are going to come into a modified, more contemporary long stretch position today. So I'm going to come hand to hand, bring 1 foot up with my toes tucked, my shoulders in front of the shoulder block, press it out, and bring the other foot up. Place my foot in front of the shoulder block. I'm going to widen my collarbones by pulling the bar apart, drawing my abs up and in, squeezing on my inner thighs, wrapping my glutes. I want for my shoulders to be over my wrists. It's a little harder. And press back an inch and pull it over. You should be looking over the end of your reformer. If you need a sticky mat here, you're more than welcome. I know my hands are a little moist at this point. Here's 4. Control. Go ahead and look in the mirror if you have one, and make sure your shoulder blades are nice and wide. 1 more. Now, begin to pike at your hips slightly as you pull the carriage in, and walk your feet down to in front of the shoulder blocks. We want equal weight from behind our big toe to behind our baby toe to our heel. We should be able to lift up our toes, no problem. I'm going to round up and in with my biceps between my ears in the angry cat position from earlier. So if you remember, in the angry cat position, we rounded up, not in. So pull pull the foot bar apart, and then we're going to press back with our glutes and hamstrings, and come deeper into our C-shaped curve, using our abdominals to pull the carriage back in. Draw your ribs to your hips even tighter. Wrap your ribs even more. Inhale and exhale, belly to spine. Let's do 3 more. And 1 more. From there, we're going to come into a flat back position, still pulling the carriage apart with our shoulder blades. If you have a hip replacement, walk your heels all the way back to your shoulder blocks, or press your carriage up slightly if you're able to. Otherwise, please don't do it from this position. You shouldn't be bringing your legs in past 90 degrees towards the foot bar. So I have the weight in behind my big toe, behind my baby toe, and in my heel. I'm going to press out and back in and press. Wrap your ribs, belly to spine. Pull the carriage apart. Maintain that flat back position. Good. Now holding the carriage into the bumper, I'm going to lift my left leg first. So I'm going to lift my left foot through the headrest in a parallel arabesque. I'm pressing into my left palm while I pull back with my right hand to counterbalance the stretch, so I can square off even further. I'm going to press back and pull it back in there. We're doing a one-legged arabesque elephant here. 4, make sure that your hips are square, flex your foot, pull the foot bar apart. Good. Maintaining this position with your arms in the front of your body, from below your belly button, you're going to lift up, press back, still pull the shoulder block apart, lift your foot up into a pointed arabesque, square off your shoulders, bring your belly button to the side, and press back, and pull it back under. Really open up your hip to the side, but don't allow your shoulders to come. This is a lower body twist. We're still in a flat back position. Really feel your abs, reach for your spine. Let's do 1 more. Good, we're still pressing and pulling. I'm going to come back to the squared off parallel position, bring my left foot back through, and place it back down onto the carriage. From there, I'm going to locate the weight behind my big toe, baby toe, and in my heel. I'm going to reach my right foot back up into parallel, square of my hips. I'm going to press in with my right palm of my hand. I'm going to pull back with my left hand, just square my shoulders and press back and pull it in. And 2. Flat back position. Press with your glutes and hamstrings. If you find this is too heavy for you, lose your leg spring. And here's 8. Now, pulling the shoulder blade, pulling the foot bar apart. I'm going to keep my shoulders square, not lean forward into my hands. I'm going to press my weight into my left palm of my hand, pull back on my right hand, pull back on my left hand, and then press back and under. Really locate that hollow feeling from hip to hip in this position. Locate your nice wide flat shoulder blades and wrap your ribs. Here's 5, 6, here's 7, squeeze your glutes till they're higher, and 8. Now, square your hips when the carriage comes in, and float your leg back down to the carriage. Now Still holding on to the foot bar, still pulling in. We're gonna come around to sit on our foot bar. If this is uncomfortable for you to come from there, we're gonna step off to the side for safety reasons. Hold on to the foot bar. Come up to a sitting position on the foot bar. I'm gonna do a modified long back stretch exercise. I'm gonna roll my shoulders up, back, and down so they're not rounding in. I'm gonna walk my feet out to about mid-carriage. Separate my feet the width of the shoulder blocks. I'm going to come off of the edge so my boot is hanging there. I'm going to really roll my shoulders up, back, and down. Now from there, with a flat back, I can lift my toes. Now I'm going to tricep press. Not using my legs. My legs will bend and straighten, but this is all in my arms. Here's 5 and 6. Let's go to 8. Roll your shoulders up like that. Your shoulders should not come to your ears when you're doing this. Shouldn't go like this. You shouldn't keep your shoulders down the whole time. Again, your arms are coming halfway down your back. Now from here, press into your heels. Press the carriage out and in. If this is too heavy, again, drop your light spring or your medium spring. Make sure you have a spring on. 4. Press into your heels. Really work down the back of the leg. Hollow out those abdominals. And 8. And now we're going to alternate. We're going to tricep dip and lift. And press and pull. And tricep, lift. Press and pull. Halfway there. Final one. Elbows back. And now pull the carriage in. And lift your booty back up onto the footboard. Shake out your arms because it feels nice. We're going to go ahead and come off to the side. We're going into chest expansion and thigh stretch. We're going to come up onto the carriage. If this is too heavy again, go ahead and drop down to 1 medium spring, but we are going to be using 1 medium, 1 light for the thigh stretch because we would like more of a stretch in our front of our thigh, really open up those hip flexors again. I'm going to come up, I'm going to place my straps on my wrists like bracelets. Oh, I'm sorry, wrong exercise. I'm going to hold on to my handles. I'm going to open up my hip flexors so my hips are over my knees. My shoulders are over my hips. Everything's in one straight line. I'm going to inhale, exhale to pull back. I'm going to look to the right and center, to the left, center, and release. And reach back. Reach down as well. Lift left first, as if you're dipping your fingers in the water again. Squeeze your glutes. It should feel like the front, or like your shins are light on the carriage. The shoulder blocks are helping you. 1 more to each side, but you're squeezing your glutes strongly in a nice neutral position from your knees all the way to the top of your head. Now from there, we're going to place our hands in the straps like bracelets. Hold on to your black tape or right above your connection point and hinge back. Drawing your belly to your spine. This is just an extension of the flat back from the short box. Just really get to a place where you squeeze your glutes, open up your hip flexors. You don't want to be like this. You want to be in a straight line still. Roll your shoulders up, back, and down. Nice and wide. Pull the straps apart and come back up. And inhale to hinge back. Exhale here. Take another nice deep inhale and float back up. Don't come so far back that you have to lift your arms up for assistance with coming up. The springs are heavy enough to where you can float back. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale and float up. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Good, guys. Breathing at your own speed. We're going to do 2 more. So float back. Squeeze your glutes strongly. Open up those shoulder blades. Nice wide collarbone. Nice long neck. Shoulders down. Again, we're imagining our arms go all the way back, halfway down our backs. And back up. Good job, guys. From there, we're We're gonna go ahead and peg our straps. Our headrest is still down. Let's go ahead and make sure that because we're going into bridging. I'm gonna come onto my back. Articulate my spine down to the mat, getting down as gracefully as possible. I'm gonna reach my arms up into a V. It's not a wide V. My V is the width of my reformer. So if you take the blades of your hands, the teeny blade edge, tap the outside of your frame and lift it up. That is how wide it is. So, I'm in a parallel position. Your heels are no wider than your sits bones. I'm going to inhale, exhale to tap my tail and articulate up into a bridge using my hamstrings to pull the carriage into the bumper. I'm going to articulate back down, vertebra by vertebra, feeling my spine for longer, hamstring curling. Inhale, exhale, lift. Pull it in, because I know I just lost it. Straight line from your knees to your hips to your underarms, and down. Flatten your shoulder blades on the mat with your arms up in the V. Really plug them down into the mat. Think of reaching down as opposed to up. Tap your tail and lift. And now as you press out, bring your hands down to your hips and float it back up as you hamstring curl across and down. Your knees should not be going out or in. As you come out, your hips will drop slightly. And then they'll lift as you come in. Good. And back in. And now articulate back down to the mat. Float your feet up. Float your feet turned out to a wide Pilates V. Come down onto your arches. Plug your shoulder blades into the mat in that V position again. Wrap your ribs, drop your belly. Inhale, exhale to lift. Straight line from the knee to the hip to the underarm. Articulate down, down, down. Inhale, exhale, lift. Using that hamstring curl to keep the carriage in at the bumper. It's a nice break, but a hard break, right? Inhale, exhale, lift. And now, plug your shoulder blades into the mat and press out. And drop your arms down and lift as you pull in. And reach and a hamstring curl. Squeeze your glutes. Let's do 2 more. Good job, guys. And now keeping the carriage in as a bumper, articulate down. Now here's where we're going to come into Pilates V. In the center, we are going to do a modified semicircle. Squeeze in on your shoulder blocks. When you do that, don't round your shoulders in. Squeeze your shoulders wide into the mat. So really plug them down. Widen your collarbone. Don't flare your ribs. Keeping the carriage in the bumper, you're going to tuck your tail and lift. And then you're going to press out. Your hips will come down slightly. Articulate your spine down to the mat. And hamstring curl the carriage back in. Tuck your tail and lift. Bring your knees across the foot bar. And reach. Wrap your ribs. And come across. Final one in this direction, and then we'll reverse. Tuck your tail and lift. Draw your knees across the foot bar. And press out. Articulate down. And come in. And now keeping everything on the mat, we're going to press out. Squeezing our legs. Tuck your tail and lift. Wrap your ribs. As you bend your knees, hamstring pull, draw your knees across. Feel your hips go higher. Tail and lower. And press out on one. Tuck your tail, lift on two. Squeeze in to plug your shoulder blades into the mat. And articulate down. Press out on one. Tuck your tail, articulate up. Hamstring curl across. And then articulate down. Good job, guys. Roll to the side. Come up to sitting. We're going to be doing a Mermaid Star Series. There's 3 levels. If you do not feel like moving on to any of the levels, please continue with the level where you're comfortable or find a nice, comfortable stretch. The first one we're going to be doing is going to be Mermaid. First thing I'm going to do is going to reach down and I'm going to take off my one light spring. So I'm on one medium spring. It's going right on my machine. I'm going to come up, place my shins up against the shoulder block. I have My right arm personally is on the foot bar in front of my body. I'm still drawing down on my lat, drawing down on my shoulder, widening my collarbone, widening my shoulder blades to keep the carriage in at the bumper. Now when I'm ready, I reach my right arm up and I reach up and over. Just like inside, but I'm not sinking. I'm growing taller in both sides. Moving through a pane of glass, wrapping my ribs, draw my abs up and in. And reach up and over. And hold on to your shoulder block. And reach into the well. And come back. We're going to be doing 3 of each part of the series. So 3 times 3 times 3. Squeeze your legs together the whole time. Don't allow them to float apart. And reach. And come back. And float across. Good. Now I'm going to float my hand down. I'm going to stack my knees, press my shins into the shoulder blocks. This is the most difficult part of the entire class. We're going to do modified start on our knees, using our lats, pulling our shoulders down our back, widening our collarbones and our shoulder blades to keep the carriage in at the bumper. So we're going to lift up by squeezing our glutes and pressing our hips forward and lower. My arms up by my side, floating gently. I like it right here. Perhaps it helps me a little bit. You're welcome to keep your arm on your hip, behind your head. Keep it in and up and lift. I have a slight bend in my elbow so you can really engage under my lat to keep the carriage in at the bumper. On the spinal one, we're going to press out an inch and pull in an inch, and then keep the carriage in at the bumper so we lower. Inhale, exhale, lift, whoop. Carriage get away from me. I'm going to press out and pull. Press, pull. Squeeze your glutes and press and pull and lower. Woo! This next part of the series will feel like a real breeze. It is more difficult. We have less body parts on the mat. I'm going to begin by placing my hand a little bit forward from the middle, from where my body is. So a little bit more towards the side that's furthest from me. I'm taking my right foot and I'm placing it on my pinky blade edge on the carriage. I'm using my lat to keep the carriage in at the bumper as I reach my left foot up and around and placing it in front of my right so my feet are tandem. From there I'm going to press out, flip my arm up and lower. Squeeze it in. I'm still lifting up out of my side, just like in side bend, mermaid, modified star, and press it in. Abs up and in. I'm going to swing my foot up and over behind me. Whoop, lost control of the carriage there. I'm going to bring my foot down. From there I'm going to come around to the other side. We're going to do the whole series from this side. If you feel like you're good on any part, please go ahead and find yourself in a stretch or continue on with the exercise where you're most comfortable. I'm going to place my shins up against the shoulder blocks. I'm going to place my right hand in front of my body on the foot bar. And that's my left hand. My right hand is flipped up. I'm going to reach up and over using my lat to lift, 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 wrapping my ribs, throwing my abs up and in. I'm going to pull it back in. Whoop. Then into the well. I'm going to come up, and I'm going to reach up and over. And then I'm going to reach over into the well. I'm reaching side to side. I'm not crunching. I'm reaching up and over as if I'm reaching over a ball with my side. Let's do one more, and then we'll move on to, in my opinion, the most difficult exercise in the whole class. I learned that one from my trainer, Katie Rowley. It is a burner in my opinion. So here we go. I'm going to step both my shins up against the shoulder block. I'm going to place my hand in front of my body. I'm going to use my lat to pull down, really engage under there. I'm going to flip my arm up to my side because that's where I enjoy it. I'm going to squeeze my glutes and lift my hips. And come back down. Whew, in a neutral spine position. I'm not allowing my ribs or anything to get away from me. I'm trying to maintain a neutral spine from hips to shoulders the whole time. Inhale, exhale, lift. Slight bend in my left arm again. Pull it into the carriage. Woo. Let's do one more, and we'll do 3 inch pushes out and in. Pull into the carriage body, talking to myself, maybe you too, and lift, and press out, and pull, and press, and pull, abs in, and pull down in your shoulders, open up your collarbones to shoulders, and lower down to the mat. Great job, guys. We're gonna finish off this side. We're gonna do cat and cow just like at the beginning to really stretch out the body again, and then you guys are done. So I'm gonna come up, place my left hand closer to the other side of the foot bar, take my left foot, pinky blade edge down on the mat for the shoulder block, swing my other leg up and over, use my lat to keep the carriage head bumper. I'm going to reach up, reach my arm up, and pull it back in. Squeeze your glutes to press your hips forward, draw your abs up and in, and wrap your ribs. Pull your lats down to pull your shoulders down and back. And in. Now swing your right leg up and over, bring your left foot off. Come onto the carriage. Your feet will be in the headrest. Your hands will be on the platform. Try to bring your shoulders as close to over your wrists as you can. Your hips will be over your knees. We're going to tuck our tail, tuck our head, look into our thighs, draw our ribs to our hips. And exhale to release our tailbone and our head, shoulders up, back, and down. Pull apart the platform. Tuck your tail, tuck your head on the inhale. And exhale to lift it up into the cow. Pull into the part again so there's a slight bend in your elbows. Walk your knees forward an inch or two. Sit back. Take a nice deep inhale, lifting your arms up. Don't lose your rib connection. Exhale, lower. Thank you so much for joining me for class today. I hope you found a nice openness, a feeling of gratitude, and I look forward to taking my next class with you guys. Thank you so much.